The greatest war of our time ended in a stalemate. In its wake, political chaos and extremism spread across the world like wildfire. Germany fell to the Spartacist revolution. France was overtaken by the radical ideology of futurism led by the avant-garde art movements, and Russia became a right-wing dictatorship under Alexander Kolchak in Western Europe. France had been facing its own increasing turmoil. Back in 1917, it was not the French army that failed to win the war, but betrayal from within. As Germany launched an all-out offensive on Allied lines pushing France to its limit, the SFIO pulled out of the Union Sacrée, declaring a general strike and bringing the nation to a halt. As strikes paralyzed the Republic, the Germans made decisive breakthroughs on the Western Front, forcing France to drop out of the war. As the British Expeditionary Force retreated from the mainland, they occupied the port city of Calais. The rest of France fell into chaos as the unstable liberal government collapsed in on itself. Riots and street fighting became commonplace and crushed any sense of peace. The masses demanded justice for the dead, and the post-war youth rejected reactionary traditions. A young soldier, Antonin Artaud, already predisposed against Marxism, was heavily shaped by this event. After 3 years of anarchy in France in 1920, the monarchist political movement Action Française took power, declaring the Fourth French Republic. Georges Bernanos, a vehement critic of defeatism and frontman for the AF, was inaugurated as the first president of the Fourth Republic in a coalition against the left. His presidency became marked by heavy-handed opposition to groups such as the SFIO. In reaction, a new wave of political thought spread to France, riding in from Italy. It was called Futurism, an ideology that rejected tradition and classicism and instead embraced ultra-modernity. The fundamentals of life itself would be reimagined and remodeled. Velocity, technology, and war would be the new driving force of society. Radical change and avant-garde art would be the favored style of expression. This modern ideology would make up the first core of what would become known as accelerationism. Guillaume Apollinaire, leader and founder of the Future Squadron, made it his mission to spread futurism to France. He added his own twists and unique French flavor to make it all the more appealing. The ideology attracted many and soon influenced the avant-garde and gradually won over the Parisians. This would move the French avant-garde into the political sphere, with people like André Breton publishing his Surrealist Manifesto. In 1924, Action Française made a fatal misstep. Bernanos finally tried to restore the French monarchy. Acquiring permission from the Pope, the AF started to repeal the law of exile, which banned former ruling families of France from residing in the country. The president then relocated the capital to Orléans and announced his intention to restore the Orléans monarchy. This sparked immense rioting and almost plunged France into a civil war, as the entire nation had grown tired and sick of politicians, statesmen and gentlemen, and seeing the old values fail yet again. They craved someone to speak to the rage boiling under their shattered pride, paving the way for Antonin Artaud, a visionary and a man with a knack for playing to the crowd's passions and instincts. This allowed him, with the backing of the Future Squadron and the Surrealists, to win over the mob and prevent France from ripping herself apart. Artaud, now the figure of the people, was appointed with the historic title of Mayor of Paris. While openly critical of the government, Artaud held off on taking hostile action due to his previous friendship with Bernanos. For now, the central government limped along. Artaud, together with Breton and Apollinaire, formed the National Front of the Avant-Garde, with the squadron becoming the official paramilitary of Artaud's Parisian regime. In 1928, the Radical Party replaced the AF government, with President Paul Doumer being sworn in among large amounts of protest. Artaud and his clique rallied the people and initiated an all-out assault on the Republic to overthrow the government and seize power, which culminated in Artaud famously tearing apart the constitution of the French Fourth Republic and throwing it into the Seine and proclaiming the renaming of Paris to Le Soleil in 1934. This led to more rioting, which was swiftly put down by the squadron and resulted in Artaud declaring himself le patron of the avant-garde France on the anniversary of the Paris Commune's founding. Now the country is focused on two values, speed and revenge. Things in the country would never be the same again. The line between the living and dead would thin, a shimmering silver thread between this reality and the next. The power of modernity to bring forth the primeval, the superiority of the unconscious over the conscious, the triumph of the metaphysical over the dialectical, the rendering of reality. This is the red flag.
Es geht durch die Welt ein Geflüster. Arbeiter, hörst du es nicht? Das sind die Stimmen der Kriegsminister. Arbeiter, hörst du sie nicht? Es flüstern die Kohle- und Stahlproduzenten. Es flüstert die chemische Kriegsproduktion. Es flüstert von allen Kontinenten. Mobilmachung gegen die Sowjetunion.
Arbeiter, Bauern, nehmt die Gewehre zur Hand. Zerschlagt die faschistische Räuberheere, setzt alle Herzen in Brand. Lasst eure Noten wandern der Arbeit auf die Gedanken von jeder Fabrik.
Dann steigt aus den Trümmern der alten Gesellschaft die sozialistische Weltrepublik.
Dann steigt aus den Trümmern der alten Gesellschaft die sozialistische Weltrepublik.
Arbeiter, horch, sie ziehen ins Feld und schreien für Nation und Rasse. Das ist der Krieg der Herrscher der Welt gegen die Arbeiterklasse. Denn der Angriff gegen die Sowjetunion ist der Stoß ins Herz der Revolution. Und der Krieg, der jetzt durch die Länder geht, ist der Krieg gegen dich, Prolet!
Arbeiter, Bauern, nehmt die Gewehre zur Hand.
ganzen Trümmer der alten Gesellschaft, die sozialistische Weltrepublik.